Rain drizzled softly over the cobblestone streets as Amelia arranged the final bouquet of the evening. Her little flower shop sat tucked between a bakery and a bookstore, glowing warm and fragrant against the gray sky. She worked with gentle precision, her hands moving quickly through petals and ribbons. When the order came in, a dozen black roses wrapped in silk, she didn't think much of it. Some clients had strange requests: roses for farewells, lilies for apologies, orchids for secrets. Black roses were unusual, yes, but beautiful in their own haunting way. The order slip listed only an address, no name, no note, and Amelia assumed it was for a dramatic surprise or a Gothic-themed event. She trimmed each stem carefully, misting the roses with water until they gleamed like polished obsidian. The arrangement, though somber, carried an elegance she admired. By the time she packed the bouquet into her delivery box, the rain had thickened, blurring the glow of the streetlights. She pulled her coat tighter and stepped outside, clutching the flowers close as she made her way through winding streets toward the old district where the address led. It wasn't a place she often visited: grand villas behind iron gates, stone fountains, and long, silent driveways. The kind of neighborhood that made her small steps echo. When she reached the mansion, its towering facade loomed against the stormy sky, lights glowing faintly through heavy curtains. Two men in dark suits stood at the gate. They eyed her suspiciously as she approached, their expressions unreadable. "Delivery," she said, holding up the bouquet with an uncertain smile. One of them stepped forward, inspecting the flowers, his brow furrowing. "Who sent this?" he asked. "I don't know," Amelia replied honestly. "It was a custom order placed through the shop." He exchanged a glance with the other guard, tension flickering between them. Then, after a moment, he nodded. "Wait here." He disappeared inside, leaving her in the rain, heart fluttering with unease. The second man stayed, silent and watchful, his gaze heavy with something she couldn't name. Minutes passed before the first one returned, motioning for her to follow. Inside, the mansion smelled faintly of leather and smoke. Shadows danced across the marble floor as she was led into a vast room lined with portraits in soft lamplight. At the center sat a man in a black suit, his expression carved from stone. His eyes were dark and sharp, resting on the bouquet like it carried a curse. "Who told you to bring this?" he asked quietly, voice smooth but dangerous. Amelia froze, clutching the roses tighter. It was just an order. I didn't know." He rose slowly, his gaze locked on her trembling hands. The room seemed to shrink around them. She didn't yet understand the weight of what she had done, or that this simple delivery had crossed an invisible line she would never be able to walk back over. For a moment, silence hung heavy in the air, broken only by the soft patter of rain against the tall windows. The man's eyes never left her, sharp and calculating, like a wolf studying something it didn't quite understand. Amelia felt her breath catch. Her fingers tightened around the bouquet, the thorns pricking her skin, a small sting anchoring her in place. Finally, he stepped closer, the quiet authority in his movements enough to make the guards at the door straighten. "Black roses," he murmured, his voice low, almost thoughtful. "Do you know what they mean?" Amelia shook her head, her voice barely more than a whisper. "No, sir, I just thought they were beautiful." He stared at her a long moment, then gave a humorless smile that didn't reach his eyes. "In my world," he said softly, "black roses are not for beauty. They're a warning, a declaration that something is about to end, a life, a loyalty, a promise." The words sent a chill racing through her. Her throat tightened. I didn't know. Please, I was just filling an order. Someone called my shop, paid in cash, I thought it was just a request." He studied her, and in that silence, she sensed something shift. The steel in his gaze softened, not with forgiveness, but curiosity. "You delivered this yourself?" "Yes," she managed. He nodded once, slow and deliberate, as if weighing a decision. "Most would have sent a courier," he said. "Yet here you are, walking into a place you don't belong, holding a symbol of death, and thinking it's a gift." He almost laughed, the sound low and bitter. "You're either very brave, or very innocent." "I just do my job," Amelia said, her voice trembling. "I didn't mean to offend anyone." He stepped closer still, close enough that she could see the faint scar along his jaw, the shadow of weariness behind his sharp features. "What's your name?" "Amelia." He repeated it once under his breath, then exhaled slowly. "Go home, Amelia," he said finally. "Forget this order. Forget this address. If anyone asks, you never came here." Her heart thudded, relief and fear tangling in her chest. She nodded quickly, backing away as the guards moved to open the door. But before she stepped into the rain again, his voice called out behind her. "Black roses aren't sent by accident," he said quietly. "If someone used you to send them, they've drawn you into something you don't understand." Amelia turned, meeting his gaze one last time. There was something there, warning, perhaps even protection. She didn't know it yet, but that single delivery had tied her fate to his, and by the next day, her quiet life would be shattered forever.